What up, Dokkanners? Let's talk about the biggest event ever created in Dokkan battle history. The Dokkan All-Stars event is a 999 stage Extreme Z battle format event that will be dropping on global towards the tail end of the 7-year anniversary. You guys have been wanting me to make a video about this to prepare you for it, so that's what we're gonna do. In today's video, we're gonna be talking about some of the things that you guys can be doing to prepare for this event. While it seems like a simple premise to just run through the event from start to finish, there's a little bit more to it that you guys need to be aware of now, so that way those of you who are free-to-play players, low spenders, new players altogether will have a little bit more time to prepare for this monumental event. Now, one thing's for certain, there's no rush, so don't feel like you have to rush this event. Once it releases, it is here to stay. You can do this at any time that you want, and there is absolutely no rush. But if you do want to be going through this with minimal resistance, or at least a little bit less resistance than will inevitably come up, then hopefully this video will help you out. So let's just jump in and talk about the basics. The basics is, it is a 999 stage event spanning over 19 categories that are required to run through this event. There are a multitude of different categories that are needed to take on different clusters of units, because it would be kind of horrible and not really that fun, more anticlimactic if anything, if all 999 stages all utilized one category weakness. That just kind of stinks. So they are basically giving us a bunch of different category weaknesses as we continue from stage 1 to 999. And at the end, we can earn 277 Dragon Stones, 27 Grand Kais of each type, 3 Elder Kais, 3 Diamond Hercule statues, and 27 Platinum Hercule statues, and then a ton of hidden potential orbs. A lot of them. That's a lot of rewards right there, making this event absolutely worth it. Fun fact, you can actually use the Devil Man up until stage 127, but after that you can't. I don't know if anyone actually does this. In fact, you know what? Let's just make this today's subscriber challenge. If you are somebody who has ever utilized the power of Devil Man and have done so successfully, or maybe unsuccessfully, if you've ever tried using Devil Man, consider subscribing to the channel. I'll just make that the subscriber challenge for today. I wasn't really planning on doing one, but I just thought about this. I've never tried this, so I'd love to know if you guys have. You can't use support memories or items because this is just like any Extreme Z battle event. And as the event progresses, it gets increasingly more difficult. So from the first stage, stage 1, there is 0% damage reduction. And as you saw on the final stage of the Universe Survival Saga category weakness, it is a 50% damage reduction, meaning as you progress through this event, it becomes more and more unforgiving. So early on in this event, one of the basic things that you are going to want to know about, even though the category weaknesses are dictated as such, Dragon Ball Saga, World Tournament, Pure Saiyans, etc., early on, you can get away with not using the appropriate type. For example, if Dragon Ball Saga is simply a category that does not work for you, meaning you haven't spent much time on the banners that involve the Dragon Ball Saga units, like you haven't summoned for the Dokkan Festival Kid Goku, perhaps you're not a fan of the World Tournament, which could be a lot of you, so you probably don't have a lot of the World Tournament units that come from this, from this category, or perhaps you're not somebody who likes to farm out free-to-plays. This category as a whole might be a little tough for you to put together. But don't feel like you absolutely have to be running exclusively Dragon Ball Saga units to run through this event, because as I mentioned, the earlier on, the more forgiving it is, and the later on you go, the more unforgiving the event becomes. Let's take a look at the distribution of this entire event. What you're looking at here is a pie chart of the entire event featuring the various categories that are required throughout this event. So from the top here, this is the first section, the first chunk, the first 108 battles. That basically 11% of this entire pie chart is dedicated to the Dragon Ball Saga category, which is a lot. But then as you progress, you're going to start to see these smaller little slivers which utilize other categories. So the number one thing that you're going to have to do in terms of preparation is to simply have the teams to actually function on these events. But as I mentioned, the later on you progress, the more unforgiving it becomes. So if you are to prioritize any categories, in my opinion, you should be prioritizing the categories that are going to be utilized towards the later parts of this event as opposed to the earlier ones, because the earlier ones you could probably get away with running a full int team to take on Tech Goku. You could probably use a full STR team to take on this Krillin. Perhaps later on you could even take on you could bring on a full physical team to take on Raditz. Might be a little bit tougher, but you could still probably do it. Whereas if you get to the Universe Survival Saga section and you are not bringing Universe Survival Saga units whatsoever, and you are fighting Fit Buu with a full Resurrected Warriors tech team, you're probably going to lose, and you're probably going to lose very quickly, because that is how difficult it becomes. The magic number is apparently 700. From what I've seen from various other Dokkan tubers, as well as various posts online, the magic number appears to be 700. That is around the point where this event really pivots into a more challenging section where you can't necessarily get away with using non-category units, or perhaps bringing some of the best tanks out there, or some of the best dodging units out there. You're going to actually have to start using category related units and probably focusing more on type advantages and more things like that. So around stage 700, which means the Realm of Gods category. So if I were to give you a pro tip, in my opinion, you should be focusing on Realm of Gods, Movie Heroes and Bosses, Universe 6, Defenders of Justice, Future Saga, Terrifying Conquerors, and Universe Survival Saga. Probably the farthest one, number one, right? And then just work your way backwards. That way, by the time you may get to like Majin Buu Saga, Otherworld Warriors, it might be a little bit tougher for potentially some of those categories, but at the same time, you can know that the more difficult events have essentially been covered by your various teams that you've put together. Now, how do you put those teams together? There's really not much you can do in terms of summoning either, unless you just keep throwing money at the banners that currently exist in Global, which is only one. We have one Dokkan Festival banner that exists on Global, which is the Ginyu banner, and summoning on these banners right now would be catastrophic for the 7-year anniversary that's coming up. So what could you possibly do to prepare for these categories right now? Well, the first and foremost thing is going to be looking through the categories and finding all of the free-to-play units that are available. If you are wondering, this entire event has been cleared with a free-to-play team. If you don't believe me, just check out Jay Fanta's video. In fact, I'm going to put that in the description. Shout out to Jay Fanta. I'm also going to put Truth's video in the description. If you guys really want to see how some of the event unfolds, I will link 2 videos from their channels in the description so you guys can go take a look. In my honest opinion, I think it would be more fun for you to experience it for the first time. But if you want a little bit of comfort in knowing that players of the free-to-play ilk or otherwise can beat this event, that might be helpful for you. So I'm going to link those 2 in the description. But this entire event, all 999 stages, have been completed by a free-to-play team, which means Universe Survival Saga, all of the free-to-play units involved in the category should be farmed out. This may take some time. This might utilize some of those keys that you might have been stockpiling. This might take a lot of extra effort that you might not have otherwise put into, but given that this is going to be releasing towards the tail end of the 7-year anniversary, you got plenty of time. This released in March 9th of 2022 for JP, which means the anniversary I think started around like mid-January, early January. They gave him about a month and a half. Global players will have a similar time frame between the start of the 7-year anniversary and the release of this event, if the pattern is to hold serve. There could always be a chance that they release this at the start of the 7-year anniversary. You have no way of knowing, but in any case, between now and the start of the 7-year, you still got some time, which is why we are talking about this right now. All of those dragon stones are very important because you're probably going to be needing some of those stones, or at least paying back some of those stones that you might spend on the upcoming 77 special summons. So there's a lot of reasons to actually work on this event now rather than later. Another thing that you're going to be dealing with when it comes to this entire event, especially if you are somebody, maybe if you're a free-to-play or a low-spending player, this might be tough for you, but if you're also somebody who likes to grind out these events really, really hard on the first day or two, where you're doing 100, 200, 300 runs, you're going to come across the other issue that comes with this entire event, and that is the friend system. The friend system is entirely broken in Dokkan. It is something that they've never really tried to fix. And I mean, okay, to be fair, they have tried a little bit to slightly improve it with the version Z update, but that doesn't really solve the inherent issue with the friend system to begin with. In my opinion, the friend system should either be changed completely to display 5 characters total, or, you know, multiple characters on a particular friend profile, or it should be the mirror system, where it also gives you the option to eliminate the need for other units and simply just to mirror the unit that you are using yourself. Now, why am I bringing this up as an issue? Well, because the issues with the friend system could ultimately influence the type of teams that you put together. I'm going to give you an example. If we were to run through the Majin Buu Saga section, that is, I think, the second biggest chunk. Yeah, it is the second biggest chunk of the entire chart, right? 135. That's what I was gonna say. 135. Something's wrong with me. 153 battles, right? Let's just say, for argument's sake, you don't have Majin Vegeta. You don't have the Goku Vegeta, Potara Vegeta. You don't have Super Vegeta. You don't have Kid Buu. You don't have any of these leaders, okay? You don't have Hercule and Buu. You don't have any of the free-to-plays or the summonables. You have absolutely zero Majin Buu Saga category leads from this bunch. But let's just say you have the Go Bros. Let's just say you happen to have Go Bros. What are you gonna do? You're probably gonna be putting together a team that fits in the Siblings Bond Goku's family, but is also intersecting with the Majin Buu Saga category. You have to, if you want to benefit from that extra damage reduction / damage mitigation. However, when you're looking through your friend system, let's just say for argument's sake, all of your different friend units are all units that fit or that are these: Majin Vegeta, Potara Vegeta, Kid Buu, or Super Vegeta. You can't find any Go Bros out there because a lot of people might be assuming that you probably want to be utilizing these leads instead. If you were to throw on one of these onto that team with the Siblings Bond and Goku's family lead, well, now you've got a glaring weakness on your team. This could be less of an issue early on, but as we progress through the event, as I mentioned, it becomes more and more unforgiving. So unfortunately, the harsh reality of the situation is, if you are a hardcore player and you are running through this event like crazy, you might inevitably come across this issue where there aren't enough friend units that you're actually looking for, and it's going to influence the type of teams that you put together. Of course, you could run the event with a full team with only one unit only getting half of the leader skill, but you're going to be taking a bit of a chance. Another example is probably going to be coming up for a lot of you guys during the Defenders of Justice category. I feel like this is going to be one of the toughest ones. I haven't seen the JP side experience this because I'm not really watching it. I kind of want to go through it myself, but I would imagine that the Defenders of Justice is actually going to be quite tough for some of you because maybe you didn't summon on Videl. There's only one Dokkan Festival category lead. There are some other leads, but you're going to have to be a little clever with your team building. Let's just say, for example, you put together a Universe 11 team, which you can do. You've got Jin, you've got Dispo, you've got Popo, you've got all of the Universe 11 units. You've got a full Universe 11 squad put together, but you can't find a single friend unit that also qualifies as a Universe 11 lead. What if you come across a Videl? Then you're going to be running a Videl with a Universe 11 squad, meaning Videl is now going to be your main weakness. And when you're at the Defenders of Justice stage, it might be a little tough to get away with a unit of that caliber having only half bonus skill. So that could be a problem. So that's why there's going to be a multitude of different factors going into this, which means the more units you have for these categories, the better off you're going to be. Take some time, look at the Dokkan Wiki, consult this resource. It's very useful. It's why I link this in every single one of my videos. Take a look at all the free-to-play units that are out there, maybe the ones that you don't have. Those one or two key pieces that you bring on your team could spell the difference between success and failure. And the more prepared that you are before going into this event, the better off you are going to be. Of course, you don't have to do any of this if you want to just run through the event as it begins. There's always that approach, but you guys have been wanting me to talk about this, so hopefully this helped you out. Mentally prepare, or at the very least, keep in the back of your mind that the biggest event of all time is going to be dropping during the 7-year anniversary. And some people might not like it because it is kind of tedious. I like it because it's going to give me something to do whenever I'm completely done with everything else, which can always be a thing for players like me who played the game a ton. Even though I like to link level, it's nice to know that there's going to be something else for me to work on in the background if I don't want to link level. So I think this is a win, a whole bunch of rewards, a ton of stuff to do, and it's going to be really fun to see how people tackle this entire event as a whole. So that is going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below. Let me know in the comments if you looked through all of the various categories on this event. Which category do you think is going to cause you the most problems? In fact, let me actually go back and show you. I'm going to end on that screen instead of this one so that you guys can actually see the list of categories. Here is the list of categories. So let me know in the comments, from all of these, for you particularly, which category is going to cause you the most problems? If you factor in that the later on you go, the more difficult they become, which one is going to be the most difficult? I feel like Defenders of Justice or Universe 6 might be the most difficult. Especially, don't forget the fact that a lot of people are probably going to be having the Universe or the 7-year LRs as their friend lead, which is also going to dilute the chances of you finding your friend units even more. So this is going to be a fun one. Let me know in the comments which category is going to be the most difficult one for you as a whole. Let me know why in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more dope content in the future and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know you want to see more of my stuff. Do it. Thanks again. Stay tuned and always remember to Dokkan responsibly.